What is up, YouTube? This is Chris, your professional dad, and I'm back with another knife video. Have you ever wanted to build a knife collection? Maybe you already have. Maybe you have a good knife collection. But if you're somebody new that's just getting into the knife game, to the idea of owning, collecting, and using knives as a hobby or passion, there's a lot of things to consider when you're getting into this. I mean, I know from personal experience, there is so much that you need to learn, so much that you need to consider, so much money that you need to spend. That it pays to do a little bit of research and to consider a few things when you get into this, when you really start out and you consider all your options. And that's what we're going to talk about today. A few things that I have learned from collecting knives. But before I talk about any of that, I want to welcome you to my channel if you're stopping by for the very first time. If you're new to my channel or if you're a returning viewer, either way, I appreciate you. Thank you. You're important to me. I appreciate you very much. As a human being, far more than as a viewer. If you like knives and EDC, you came to the right place because we talk knives and EDC almost every single day. Not only do we like that, we also like having giveaways. And right now we have a massive giveaway going on. We have a really big one. It's coming around the pike. We're getting closer to it every day. If you're interested in being in this, where you can win a budget to where you can spend it on anything that you want, knives or EDC related, it's your money. You get to spend it however you want. Instead of me telling you what knife you're going to win, you get to pick what knife you win. If you're interested in some budgets or some possibly knives or free gifts, then what you need to do is like this video, subscribe to my channel, and then go over to the other video on my channel entitled Huge Knife Budget Giveaway. Watch that. It just takes a few minutes of your time and do exactly what it says. It's real simple, real easy. It doesn't cost you a thing. Just a few minutes of your time and you're in. And very, very soon from now, we're going to have a huge, massive giveaway, and I cannot wait. We've already had one big one, and we're about to have another one, and we're all excited for this. All right, guys. Just got back from going out with the family. It ended up being exactly what I was afraid it would be. Did I tell everybody that I'm a single dad? I better not say those things. It is what it is. But I came back. I wanted to, the whole time I was trying to think of what I could do a video on, and I have this email that I haven't addressed yet. It actually was emailed to me a while ago, and I wanted to do a video on it. I just kept wanting to do reviews and stuff like that, and I told him I would get to it. And this is it. I had a few minutes to kill when I got back just now, and I wanted to make a video, and what better time than this right now. So here's the deal. Here's exactly what this video is. The question was this: they have a little bit of money, and they're wanting to get into knife collecting. They can do it one of two ways. They can buy a few high-end premium knives, a couple $100 a piece, or they could spend their money on getting more affordable budget knives and getting a lot more of them. Which one should they go with? If it was me, how would I spend the money? And that's exactly what I want to talk about today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to approach this from two ways. First, we're going to look at 3 knives that I would get, having all the knives that I have, all the premium knives that I have, if I was to start right now and I had a $500 budget. And I know that's a lot of money. Nobody's like, oh, I'm not spending $500. I can't afford that. I'm just saying, if you had an entire collection that was $500 for the entire collection, not right now spending $500 on a drop of a dime. I'm saying if your collection overall was worth $500, and actually these are going to come in at a little bit more than $500, more like $550, $570, something like that. But we're just going to say $500. These 3 knives are the knives out of all that I have, the knives that I would start out with, from my experience, from what I have and stuff like that. So the very first knife is this right here, the Paramilitary 2. Now you can get Paramilitary 2s for, that $190 up to about $250, $260, depending on what you get as far as materials go. This Paramilitary 2 is around $220. I mean, you can get them on sale cheaper than that, I'm sure. Some places sell them more than that. This is an American-made knife. It has textured G10 handles. It has the amazing compression lock that Spyderco does a fantastic job with. Makes it incredibly fidgety and playful and useful. This knife was undefeated in the 3-knife challenge. I put it up against some amazing knives, and it was just knocking them out left and right. There's one thing that the entire knife community agrees on, and that is that the Paramilitary 2 is a fantastic knife. It's hard to beat the Paramilitary 2. Its overall versatility, its ease of use, its fidgetiness, the blade shape, the ergonomics, the American-made factor, the warranty, all in all, makes the Paramilitary 2 one of the best knives that's ever been made, in my opinion. And apparently from the opinion of everybody else that voted on that daggone week-long 3-knives challenge. It has a 4-position pocket clip. You can go tip up, tip down, left hand, right hand, whatever you want to do. You can do whatever. It has great jimping and a spot for your thumb. It has a finger troll up here so you can choke up. It has a great point for poking and piercing. It has a great slicing belly so you can do slicing, box cutting, whatever. Now this one is in S45VN. You can get them in crew wear. You can get them in XHP. You can get them in S35VN. You can get them in S30V, 20CV. M4, I mean, I don't know exactly what all they offer the Paramilitary 2 in, but you can get it in a lot of daggone steels. Their Salt series, different things like that. This knife is great. Now, again, this one comes in at about $220. And it's one knife that if you have a collection and you want premium knives in it, it's one of the first knives that you should get. Take the titanium handles out. Take the Magna Cut out, take all that and throw it away. Not literally, I'm just saying. When it comes to collecting knives, when you get into the premium end, this is one of the first knives that you need to have. Hands down, and everybody that's watching this that knows anything about knives, that has a knife collection, that especially has premium knives, will probably agree with me. This is one of the first knives that you need to get when it comes to premium end knives. Now, this next knife might be a knife that not everybody agrees on, but it's a knife. This is my video, I'm making it, so I'm putting it in here because I love this knife. And in my opinion, I've said this before, and you might know exactly what knife I'm talking about as soon as I make this statement. To me, this is the best knife this company has ever made, hands down. And they make a lot of good knives. And that is the Benchmade Osborne 940. Now, you can get the Auto, you can get... You can get this in several different configurations. You can get the Mini. They've got several different Osbornes. It's hard to beat this right here. It's hard to beat it right here. This is a fantastic knife. It's good looking. It's gorgeous. Look at that purple spacer right there. It's awesome. Just pops with that green aluminum handle. It's got a crossbar or axis lock that Benchmade made famous. It's got dual thumb studs, excellent action, excellent ergonomics. Another Benchmade, American-made knife. It's got easy contouring handles. It's good size. Now this is actually, somebody that works on a farm that does a lot of shoeing of horses and different things like that. They were in mind when this knife was made. But I'm going to tell you, this is an amazing EDC all-around useful knife. The blade shape, yeah, it's funny looking. It's different. It's unusual, but it's absolutely spectacular and amazing. Now this knife right here, another knife that comes in around $200 to $220. You can get it a little cheaper on sale sometimes. You can get it a little bit more expensive at some places, depending on what your capabilities and options are, how readily available they are in the area. But this is a great knife. We'll just say $200. Right now we're at $400 to $440 for these two knives. And you've only got two knives. Now, here's the thing. This is in S30V, an excellent blade steel. It's going to hold its edge retention for a long time. I mean, it's relatively strong and durable. Obviously, they made it that way because it's used around horses and farming and different things like that. This knife was introduced at the 2000 SHOT Show and then Blade Show, and I'm going to tell you, it has absolutely taken the world by storm ever since, and they still sell them like hotcakes every single day, and they're coming up with more variants every single day. Not every single day, obviously, but all the time. because it's such a good daggone knife. I'm telling you, the Benchmade Osborne 940, in my opinion, is the second knife that I'm buying when I'm collecting knives and I'm getting into premium end. Now, it wasn't the second knife that I bought in premium knives when I got into this, but I didn't know what I know now. What I know now, I'm buying first the Paramilitary 2. Second, I'm buying this knife right here. Absolutely, hands down. Now, this next knife is a knife that you guys are going to know as soon as I say this. I have more pocket time with this knife than any other knife that I have. And it's also an absolutely fantastic knife. And it's the third knife that I'm going to get. And I needed to come up with something that was going to be a certain price range so that it could still fit in around that $500 budget. And it is the Cold Steel 8010. This knife is fantastic. It has the Triad lockback system, which is the best locking system on the market for knives. It's the most safe, secure, reliable locking system there is. They've tested this thing over 800 pounds of pressure and force, and it will not snap and break. It's fantastic. It's massive, so it fits even the biggest of hands. Look how big that blade is. This is an S35 VN. Now you can get them different ones. You can get them where they the light and stuff like that. You can get them cheaper, but this one right here is around 135 to 140 depending on where you get it. Again, it's S35 VM blade steel. Look how big that thick that blade stock is. This is a massive knife. This is a beater knife. You can beat this, cut with this, use it for a long time. You can chop, you can do whatever. You can use this in the woods. You can do whatever you need to. This knife is going to just shake it off and keep going. This is a tank of a knife. A tank of a knife. I love this knife. And this knife you can get for around 130 to 140, you know, give or take. And it's worth every penny. And so many people, when I do 3 knife challenges or daily knife challenges, people are constantly mentioning the 8010 or a lot of the Cold Steel knives, because regardless of what anybody thinks about Cold Steel, they are very popular for a reason. They are very rugged, durable, strong knives that are dependable. They're not the flashiest knives. They're not the most ergonomic knives. They're not the most fidgety knives. They're not the coolest knives. You know, the knives with the titanium or the glitz and glamour of Magna Cut. They're just good, rugged, dependable knives. Cold Steel. And they are fantastic. And if I was going to get 3 knives to start off a knife collection, and I was going premium end, and I was spending my money, that's the 3 knives that I would get. Right there. 3 knives that I would get that absolutely, hands down, are going to do everything that you need. You need something that's going to look good in a pair of dress slacks and go to church or out to eat or something like that, or you can have in a business suit. It's got a gentleman's knife look to it. Elegant, sleek, professional, classy. Boom. You want to go to work. You want to, you got boxes to cut all day, packages to open. You want something that's good and useful for just all around general EDC. Boom. There you go. Your second category is taken care of. You want something that you can use for the hard use areas, camping, bushcraft, survival, self-defense, just all around beater knife. If you're working in a shop, if you're working wherever, just a knife that can take a beating and keep going. Boom, there you go. You've got a knife for pretty much every situation. And now those knives, if you was to buy those 3 knives brand new, you're going to spend more than $500. Actually, any of the knives over there that I come up with, 3 knives, they were going to come up to more than $500. When you get to the premium side, that's what you're dealing with. You're dealing with knives that cost a lot of money. But I got those because those were the knives, honestly, that I'm going to. But they're also some of the best prices when it comes to the premium end knives. 220, about 200 to 220, 130 to 140. So right there, we're at 550 easy to 570. We'll just, all right, just keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind. 3 knives. Now here's your other option. If you're wanting to start a knife collection, this is your other option. I'm going to start going down the line. And I'm going to show you all the amazing knives that you can get for the same price and all the different situations that you could handle. We're going to start with this really cool button lock Kaiser Assassin. I have shown this knife a few times, and this knife has gotten so much attention and so many positive comments because the Kaiser Assassin is this all-around fidgety, fantastic knife. It's in 154 cm blade steel, which is not a shabby blade steel, and Kaiser does really well with it. It's got green micarta handles, a deep carry pocket clip that is reversible. It's a button lock, fidgety as all get out, dual thumb studs, and not only dual thumb studs, but it's also got a thumb flipper. It's got jimping all the way up to the drop point of the blade, so you got great jimping on the blade. It's not the largest knife. This is a 4-finger knife for me though, but there's no overhang, so that last finger does overhang from the handle a little bit, but it's still on the handle, so it is a 4-finger knife or handle, 4-finger grip. So this is a great knife. Now you can get this right here, 50, 60 bucks. Cheaper sometimes on sale, more expensive some places on sale, but I'm telling you, you want a fidgety knife that's reliable, a button lock, full steel liners, just a really cool little knife, the Assassin. You can use this for all kinds of EDC uses. It's cool looking. Again, it's fidgety. I probably shouldn't have went in this order because I'm going with some of the cooler knives first. Next, have I talked about the Raccoon lately? The Voss-Steed Raccoon is hands down one of the best EDC knives on the budget end that's ever been made. Now this is the access or crossbar lock. Their button compression lock is the way to go with this. I've learned that recently, and I actually am going to get one. The button compression lock is the way to go. Just let's say that. But for this little conversation here, we've got to consider the compression or the access lock or crossbar lock because that's what I've got. This has got aluminum handles. It's got a pocket clip that's almost deep carry that is reversible, left hand or right hand. It's got a blade that is fantastic for slicing, a ton of cutting edge and belly. It looks cool. It looks elegant. It looks sleek. It's fidgety, so you can play with it. You can take care of that ADD need if you got one. The jimping's not very good, nothing to write home about. It's got good ergonomics on the handle. Now these things are coming in around $75, 75 bucks, and you can have a Voss-Steed Raccoon. And again, in my opinion, and forgive me for the fingerprints, I use and play with my knives a lot, so I needed to wipe these off, but it is what it is. I'd always be wiping off blades if that's all I did. But one of the best EDC knives that's ever been made, the Voss-Steed Raccoon. Any situation you're going to come across for EDC, right here, that knife is going to handle it. And this is also in Nitro V blade steel, which is another blade steel that's nothing to cry about. It's a pretty good blade steel. Now this knife, this is a premium option right here. You can get these knives for 35 and 40 bucks. This is a premium option because I don't have any of the $35 options. But we're going to consider the $35 option instead of the one that I'm holding in my hand. And it is the QSP Raccoon. I said the QSP Raccoon. I'm sorry, because I just showed the Raccoon. The QSP Penguin. Now you can get the QSP Penguin and a liner lock. This happens to be a frame lock with the Frag titanium handles and 154 cm blade steel. So this one's going to cost you about $109. But we're just going by the actual knife itself, the QSP Penguin, that you can get for around $35 a piece. You can get them in different blade steels. You can get them in D2. You can get them in, I think they have an AUS 8 version. I think they have a Nitro V version. Just tons of versions. Liner locks, different things, just all kinds of stuff. The QSP Penguin is one of those When you think about EDC knives on a budget, there's three knives that come to my mind when they stand up at the top. Like they're the three EDC budget knives that they've sold. Their numbers in sales prove that they are at the top of the game. It's the Raccoon, the Penguin, and the Elementum. All three of those knives, for EDC purposes, are at the top. Just on numbers alone. People vote with their dollars. And they have voted the Penguin as one of the best EDC knives out there. And that's also why there are so many versions of the Penguin. The Penguin is a fantastic knife. Again, $35, $40, and you can get one. It's chic, it's elegant. Forget what this looks like. Overall, this is exactly what it's going to look like, just with a different handle. It fits the hand. It's good size. It's great for cutting. It's great for EDC uses. It's great for box cutting. It's great for just whatever. When you close it up, it's a good looking knife right there. A really good looking knife. Now imagine this was in G10 or micarta. You can get them in all different kinds of handle materials. And they're very, very affordable knives. And you got the QSP Penguin. What knife collection is going to be complete without a buck 110 Slim? Now you can go with the 110. That's going to cost you about $65 to $70. But you can go with the 110 Slim and you're going to spend about $35 to $40. You can actually get them cheaper than that some places on sale. The 110 Slim gives you the same capabilities of the 110. It's just lighter and slimmer, easier to carry. Comes with the pocket clip instead of a big, bulky, heavy knife that you need a holster or a sheath to carry it with. I said a holster, sheath to carry with. This is a light knife, very capable, a very long blade. You can use this for hunting. You can use it for fishing and filleting fish. You can use it for just so many different things. You can use this for whittling knives or whittling wood. Man, I'm just so tongue-tied tonight. Whittling wood. You can use it for so many different things. It has a deep carry pocket clip that is reversible. The pocket clip is a pretty handy little pocket clip, and that is reversible. It has a lockback system. We've already talked about how durable the lockback system is. It's a very good locking system. Look at how much blade you've got right there. You want to talk about an excellent knife. The 110 Slim is a fantastic knife. And if you're a knife collector, whether you're doing the scenario like this or you're just a knife collector and you're not concerned about how much money you spend or how many knives you have, you've got to have a 110 Slim. It's got to be in every collection. I'm sure most of you all have a 110 Slim in your collection. If not, you need to remedy that situation because these things are just fantastic and awesome. Now, mine has been used a ton. I have used this knife so daggone much. It's beat up, it's abused, and it looks great. Still full edge on it. I mean, just a great, great knife. Love this knife. That's another knife. We're not even halfway done. Remember those three knives that I talked about that were in the list for the EDC knives? The best EDC knives out there? The Elementum. Now you can get this in a button lock and different stuff like that, but this is just a good old-fashioned liner lock Elementum. You can get these at Walmart right now for $55. G10 handles. Good deep carry pocket clip. It's not reversible, but it's right hand only. It's a liner lot. It's got full steel liners. Now this is in, I think this is in D2 blade steel. D2 blade steel, whatever it is. If it's in Nitro V or D2, it's got good jimping on top. It's good blade steel, good ergonomics. It's a 4-finger grip, a great blade shape and drop point and this is a hollow grind. So the hollow grind, you all know, is a cutter. It's a cutting knife right here. There's a reason that the Elementum sold as many as they did. And there's so many versions of the Elementum now. It's out of control because they sell so many. The Elementum came onto the world and took the world by storm. I know Taylor at Best Damn EDC swears by the Elementum. He loves the Elementum. He's got so many of them. For a long time, this is the only knife that he carried for EDC use. And he's got a lot of expensive knives, and he carried the Elementum a lot. For, a year, he didn't carry anything but the Elementum. And there's a reason. People love the Elementum. I've never been a big fan of the Elementum myself. For me, it's not big enough for my hands. My finger does fall off a little bit there at the end. It's just a little too light for me. It's a great knife. I'm not saying that. But I would rather have something like a heavier knife like the Assassin or the Raccoon. This is a little light for me, different things like that. But all in all, it's a fantastic knife. And for the average person, this is an amazing knife. And it's going to take care of all of your EDC needs. And it's going to look really good doing it. You can get different color handles. You can get carbon fiber. You can get different things. Look at that. Sleek, professional looking, fidgety. Excellent action, liner lock, great knife right there. No knife would also be, or collection, no knife collection would also be complete without this that you can get at Walmart right now, all day long. The Kershaw Leek. Another knife that in the 3-knife collection, I learned really quick how many people really do love the Leek. The Leek is one of the best-selling knives ever for a reason. These things with this Wharncliffe blade, hollow grind, I never saw it myself. I never understood. It is an assisted knife. Look at that action. Boy, that's assisted. That jumps out there. This is a liner lock. It's got everything that you need. It's a good pocket clip. It's not reversible. Actually, it is reversible. You can go tip up or tip down, but it's not left or right-handed. So it's not ambidextrous, but it is tip up or tip down. You can switch it either way. If you want it tip down, you can go tip down. If you want it tip up, you can go tip up, but you cannot go left or right-handed. It's not ambidextrous. Dual thumb studs with a flipper. Excellent action. The Leek, I've even told the story of buying these. I never understood. I was like, that knife cost how much? At Walmart. And I kept seeing it. I kept going back like, what are you all talking about? Look at that little bitty thing. And that's how much? And these other knives that are way bigger cost half that? I didn't understand until I saw David C. Anderson on Knife Center do 10 knives that every collection should have. And this was one of them. And he went on about how this is one of the greatest knives ever made. So I was like, oh, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. And I went back and got one. And I've always had this knife. I've had a couple other Leeks that I've given away. But I've always kept this because this was my very first one, so it has sentimental value to me as being the first one that I had. Plus, I just don't use them often, the Leek. So if I was going to keep one, it was going to be this one. Great handles, great ergos, a lot of cutting edge right there with that hollow grind. Good point with that Wharncliffe blade. You can do just an EDC dream right here. Yeah, it's not my dream. But a lot of people love it. A lot of people. And they are still coming out with versions of this constantly. I just saw that they had some more leaks come out. Kershaw did. And as soon as I went to get the one with the American flag, every leak that they had was sold out. And I was like, they just dropped like 2 days ago. And all the leaks are sold out. There's tons of other Kershaws that are still available. But every leak is sold out. Okay. The Leek is a popular knife. We're still not done. All the knives I've showed you so far, 3 knives compared to all of those knives, and we're not done. What about the CEO from CRKT? You want a knife that you can take to church, a knife you can take into an office building, a knife that you can take for a restaurant to be your own personal steak knife. You want a knife that is just cool as the other side of the pillow. Look how small this thing is. Looks like an ink pen. It's what it would look like in your shirt pocket or your pocket, your pants pocket or whatever. It's small, narrow, very deceptive. Very deceptive. You do not understand what this knife is capable of at first glance. It's got a deep carry pocket clip, a true deep carry pocket clip where it goes in over the top with that plate that you can reverse to left or right-handed. It's got a great little flipper there that's got jimping on it, so it's got good traction. Look at that action. Fantastic. Jumps right out. Look how long that blade is. Look at that. Narrow, slim. You can use this for an office space, a letter opener, a box opener, package opener. As thin as that blade is, it's very strong, rugged, and durable. I mean, this is a good knife. Very good knife. This is a true gentleman's knife. An executive knife. This is an executive knife. I mean, this is the king of executive knives right here. When it comes to executive knives, they can talk about all the knives they want, but the CRKT CEO is always going to be one of the very top that they mention, because it was created for that purpose. And now look at all the knives that have copied this, that have tried to come out and I mean, you know, imitation is the best form of flattery, you know, and there's a lot of people flattering the CEO, let me tell you, because this knife gets a lot of imitations. A lot of imitations. This is a fantastic knife. Another knife, if you have a knife collection, on this table, knife collection, knives that you've got to have in the collection, you've just got to, the 110 Slim, the Penguin, this, and here's a few other, and we're still not done. What about the Rat 1? Do I need to say more? Everybody talks about the Rat 1 constantly. Just in yesterday's video, people were talking Rat 1, Rat 1, Rat 1. There's a reason, though. This is the greatest all-around beater knife that's ever been made, in my opinion. Beater knife all around, and the reason why is because of its capabilities on its budget. I mean, you can get these for what, $40? You've got a 4-position pocket clip, just like the Spyderco. Left hand, right hand, tip up, tip down. You've got full steel liners, and this is a liner lock. You've got a massive blade there. Look at the shape of that blade. Talk about designed for EDC, for cutting and for slicing. This is a slicer blade right here. This is a flat grind that is made for cutting. Now this one is in All-Sate. You can get them in D2, All-Sate. You can get all the different ones. You can even get them now with Magnet Cut. They're just fantastic. They don't have a thumb flipper. You don't need it. Dual thumb studs, and the action is phenomenal. The Rat 1 is probably the best. If I did a survey on the best beater knives on a budget, what would they be? The Rat 1's probably going to win, because so many people are going to say the Rat 1. I mean, there's a reason, though. These things are fantastic. The Rat 1 or the Rat 2, either one. But you got to go with the Rat 1. If you're only getting one, it's got to be the Rat 1. Look at how much blade shape you got right there. This thing is massive. Massive. Look how much I've got there for my big hands. All that hangover right there. There ain't no fighting over space for my fingers on this handle. Look at how much room you've got. Talk about just take it out to the woods and beat on it. Hunting, camping, EDC, box cutting, whatever. Just a really good, cool, efficient knife. You want to go with those premium knives just because you love that daggone cold steel. You love that triad lock. You love the big beefiness of the cold steel. Okay, then just get an SR1. You don't have to get a Tonto like this. You can get a drop point. You still got your triad lock, 800 pounds of pressure. You've still got a massive chunk of steel. Look how big that blade is. Now this is the Tonto tip, but you can get the drop point, which looks a lot like this. Look how big this knife is. Look how beefy it is. Look how strong and sturdy it is. Look at this. Look at that pocket clip that you can reverse to left hand or right hand, tip up only. Triad lock. Now the blade steel, not the best stuff in the world to call it right home about. It's just 8CR. 8CR is nothing special. But I've said this a million times, for a long, long time, we did not have the super steels that we had. So all knives came in 8CR. And everybody just sharpened them more. Nowadays, it's like if you don't have a super steel, you don't have a knife. What did people do for 50 years? How did they ever handle a knife? I don't understand it. I don't. Sharpen your knife more, yes. Is it as good as the more premium steels? No. It is a budget steel that you are going to have to do a lot of work to. You're going to have to sharpen and hone it constantly. It's going to go dull on you constantly. But it's still metal. It's still hard. You can still put an edge on it, make it sharp to cut boxes and everything else. HCR does just fine if that's what you can afford. If that's what you got, it's great. And I like it. I think if you're willing to do, and I'm that guy who does like sharpening knives. It gives me something to do and go away in my head for a little while and ignore my kids and just tone them out. Dad, 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 why aren't you answering me? Dad, Dad, Dad. And 30 minutes later, it's like, oh, I'm sorry. What, hon? I've been saying Dad for 30 minutes. Oh, I'm sorry. I was sharpening knives. I was lost in my own little world. I'm joking. It's not really that bad. Sometimes I'm joking. It's not that bad. I would never do that to my kids. But man, I wish I could sometimes. That's my attempt at humor. ACR, sharpen it, spend the time on it. It is not a super steel. It's not a premium steel. It is not what you want. You want S30V, S35V, AUS 10 or D2 at least. You want a better steel. 10CR, get 10CR. But if it's the only thing that you've got an option for, what are you going to do? Look at the knife and say, no, be in something else. It's what you got, so you got to deal with it. And some people refuse to buy them if they don't have, just because it's got HCR, they're like, no, that's garbage, that's trash, I wouldn't use it. Okay, then don't use it. Somebody else will. I will, and I'll just sharpen it more. But I promise you I'll cut anything with this that you can cut with that Magna Cut. I might have to sharpen this thing a lot more. Again, I said it in the live stream recently. I just don't have the opinion to beat stuff down. I'd rather find what makes it better than what brings it down, you know? We can always find the negatives. Let's find the positives. To somebody out there, this is a grill knife. So who am I to sit here and say, or who are anybody to sit and say, oh, that's garbage, that's trash, it's this, it's that. To somebody somewhere, this is a grill knife. And every time that somebody says that's a trash knife, that's trash steel, you're telling that person, and this is the best they've gotten, the best that they can hope to afford, you're telling them that they don't even deserve to be a knife collector. You don't have no knife. What are you talking about? Go away. You're not in the knife community. You got that knife. You got that ACR steel. Go away. Sorry, I'm getting on a tangent here, and I shouldn't. I've just been hearing that a lot lately. And that's just where my personality and attitude is. To somebody somewhere, to some little kid like I used to be, that is just so happy he got his knife, and he wants to show it off. Look at this knife. And then somebody looks at it and says, dude, that knife's got ACR on it. Are you serious? Go away, kid. Yeah. So that's my soapbox for the day. I'm done. Thank God it's the end of the night, so I can get off the soapbox and go to sleep. Back to my message. SR1, this is a great knife. 2 more knives I want to show you. So we're still not done. You like this? You want the amazing fact that you own a Spyderco? Because those who know, in the words of a very good friend of mine that I've met through this channel, those who know carry Spyderco. Right here, you've got a Tenacious. You can get these for $60. Another HCR steel. It's good enough for Spyderco. And Tenacious is one of the best knives out there, and they sell them a ton. They're a budget knife, but they're Spyderco. Yet you got to sharpen it more. You've got your 4-position pocket clip. You've got your ergonomics of the Spyderco blade. You've got your Spidey hole. There, look at that. Look at the blades. See what I'm saying? You've got a Spyderco. Yes, you don't have S30V or S35V in. No, you do not have the compression lock for the fidgetiness, but you got a Spyderco. It's not American made, but you got a Spyderco. With the spider hole, the look of it, to the untrained eye, who is not a knife enthusiast, if you jerk out this knife and I jerk out this knife, they're going to be like, ain't that the same knife? I mean, yeah, they look a little different, but ain't the same knife? And then somebody says, no, those are very different knives. What do you mean? Well, one's got a hard steel, one steel's not hard. What do you mean? They're both metal, they're both hard. That's how the average person looks at it. And when you're getting into collecting, that is how you look at it. You look at it just that. You don't understand all that other stuff. To you, all you know is that you've got a Spyderco. And you can have a Spyderco if you go this route. You don't have to go the expensive knives. You can get an 8CR Tenacious that will cut anything else that anything else is willing to cut or able to cut, as long as you'll sharpen that blade and take care of it a little bit more. If you'll put the time in, this knife will do you just fine. You show love to your knives will show love to you. You protect them and take care of them, they'll protect you and take care of you and do everything you need them to do. And this knife right here is a very capable knife, and it is a Spyderco. Those who know carry Spyderco. All of these knives that I just showed you, and we're still not even close to $500 in value. And I added a little bit of money to each one of these knives. Go back and do the math. Go back and do the math and look it up. Right now I'm about 480 bucks. So we're still 20 bucks away. But remember, those knives were actually well over 500 bucks for 3 knives. Now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and let's go one more. You got to have a fixed blade. You got to. So I'm going to show you 2 options. One, you can go with this $40 amazing Mora Bushcrafter with a really cool molded polymer sheath, rubber handles. It's not a full tang, but about 3/4 tang. Sharp edges on the spine so you can strike a ferro rod. A Scandi grind that is a dream at bushcraft, at feathering sticks, any of that stuff. This is an excellent knife. Look how much blade you get. Look at that. Fantastic knife. You can get this for around $40, $45. But let's say that you want a knife that's more versatile than just going to the woods and camping. You want a fixed blade knife. I mean, you'd like to be able to do that stuff with it, but you'd like to be able to do more than just feather sticking wood with it. Okay. Let's go with this massive hunk of beast right here. Look at that sheath. Look at this. Full tang knife, rubberized handle, sharp spine for striking a ferro rod. You've got a cool swedge right there for a drop point so you can pierce anything. This is made out of high carbon blade steel, SK5. Instead of like 1095, this is SK5, and this is for like, well, it's just a high carbon steel. It's made to the military uses these for a reason. Cold steel, SRK, is one of the best survival bushcraft all around knives in the world, and the military uses them. Militaries around the world use these for a reason. Look how much blade you get. You want to talk about puncturing. You want to talk about self-defense if you need to do self-defense. You want to do any of that. You want to talk about bushcrafting. This thing will do it. It's got a hollow grind right there that you can do any feather sticking, anything like that. You can do chopping with it. Again, self-defense. Just whatever you need to do. This knife, and I know people on here right now that's watching this video that have used these in the military and have literally had their lives not literally saved, but their lives have been in crazy situations before, and these knives have came through to help them out. And they can tell you in the comments if I'm telling you wrong. You've got an excellent sheath right there that you can strap to a molly pack. You can put it on your belt. You can do cross draw, whatever you want. You can wrap it with paracord, stuff like that. You can do whatever you need to do. And you've got this knife. You can get this knife for around $40 right here. I think this is exactly $41.90 or something like that on Blade HQ. You can get them cheaper than that at Amazon. For a cold steel, massive chunk of steel. And one last knife. If you don't want either one of those because they're too big and you want something small, it wouldn't be a knife show without me recommending my beautiful and amazing Outdoor Element Scout Feather that you can get for under $50. That has a ferrule rod, a sheath. You can use it as a neck knife. You can put it on your waist. You can put it in your pocket, whatever you want. It's got G10 handles, excellent ergonomics, excellent jimping on top. You can use this for anything that you want. It's an excellent EDC knife that's in a fixed blade, but it's small. An EDC fixed blade, and you can get these under $50 as well. Look at that. Those are your options. You can go 3 knives, all fantastic winners, and you do not go wrong. Now, either one of these 2 options is the way to go. If it's the way that you want to go, and you go that way, you're 100% correct. That was the way to go. That was 100% the right way to go. If you go with these 3 knives, you made the best decision you could possibly make, and I applaud you right on. That was the right choice. If you go with the other knives, the massive amounts of knives here, that you can get all of these for the price of those 3, that was 100% the right choice and decision. Right on. I applaud you. That was the perfect choice and decision. You couldn't have done better. Whatever you choose to do, whichever way you want to go, if it's the way that you want to go, it's your collection, you've made the right choice. I'll say one last thing. People go on to Reddit and stuff like this, and they'll put up a knife, and they'll say, hey guys, this is my knife. What do you all think? Every time they do that, a lot of times they get a lot of applause and praise, but sometimes they'll just get blasted, and I read them. And what I want to tell them is, listen, you're not asking them what they think of the knife. You're asking them to compare that knife to their knives. You're asking them to compare your choice and your taste with what they would choose and their taste. And if their taste and their choice doesn't match up with yours, then obviously it's not going to be a positive comment. So we don't need to worry about what other people think about our knives. If you like your knife, you enjoy it, you enjoy your knife collection, and you like your knife collection, whether it's a bunch of budget gas station knives or it's the most expensive knives and you have nothing but Chris Reeves knives. Whatever it is, you need to appreciate your knife collection. You need to love them. You need to take care of them. You need to have them with pride. Because I promise you this, if you don't appreciate the things when you're down, you will not appreciate things when you're up. You know? If you're not willing to take care of a knife just because it's budget, when it's the only knife that you have and you rely on this knife for everything, if you're not willing to have pride in that knife and take care of it, then you definitely won't have pride in your knives and take care of them when you have a lot of knives and you have options and different things like that. You'll just treat them like whatever and just throw them around and not take care of them. Take care of what you have. Appreciate what you have. Sorry I've been on so many soapboxes tonight. I've gotten a lot of emails and a lot of questions, and sometimes I take an opportunity in a video to respond to more than one email and get as many of them out as I can. But sorry about the HCR tantrum. Just a lot of people really are very passionate about that, and they beat me up because I don't. I've literally gotten emails telling me that I lose credibility because I tell people that HCR is a steel that they can work with and it's good, and it's not that I should watch what I say. And okay, I understand that perspective. I really do, because I tell you right now, HCR is nothing compared to S35 or S30V or MagnaCut. They're not even in the same ballpark. And if you can option the nicer steels and the premium steels, you're crazy not to go with them. Crazy if you can afford them and you have the option. If you willingly choose HCR but you can get the other options, that's a different ball game. Now we're just talking, that's an uninformed, lack of knowledge. You know, you don't know what you're getting into, and you really don't understand the capabilities of both. But if it's the world that you live in, because of budget wise, it's all you can get. It's all that you have options to you because your local places don't sell anything else. I mean, you got to take what you can get. And once you got them, you got to live with them and you got to treat them right. And I said this on the live stream, I'm not the guy that's going to beat anything down. Nothing. I don't care if it's a $5 gas station knife. I'm not going to beat it down. I'm not going to talk about how that's a gas station knife. That's trash. I'm going to be like, that knife looks cool as heck. Man, what does that look like? A motorcycle? Man, that is awesome. Who thought of that? Because I want to find ways to be positive, to encourage that person that's got that knife. They might be like, oh man, this is a cool knife. I made the right choice. This is a cool knife. Other people like my knife. Now they might want to get another knife. The next thing you know, they do start to look, oh, well, what else can I buy? And then they go down the rabbit trails. And the next thing you know, they're right where we all are. And now they have full collections and they understand, yeah. So then the next time they're in that situation, they encourage that person that's got that one knife that they know better, but they still know that that's the only knife that guy has. So they tell them how that knife is great, and they encourage them. And that, it's the snake eating its own tail. It's a tumbling weed that's going to turn over and over and over and again and again and again. It is what it is. So remember that, guys. Either way is the right way. You can get 3 knives that are all capable, or you can have a knife for every situation. You want to go camping? Boom. You want to go to the office or church? Boom. You want just a good EDC knife? Boom. You want to go fishing or hunting? Boom. You want to go to the outback and go camping and have a survival knife that's capable of taking care of anything you run across? Boom. You want something fidgety? Boom. You just want something really daggone cool that looks awesome? Boom. You just want a Spyderco because you love Spydercos? Boom. You can get these or all of these. That's what you need to consider when you're getting into knife collecting. What do you want to do? Is it better to have a few knives or a lot of knives? Me personally, and I'm going to end this conversation, you all probably want to know, well, Chris, what way would you go? I'm going to tell you exactly what way I would go. I love these knives. I'm never going to sell them or get rid of them. Ever. Never, never, never. I love all my knives. I'm never getting rid of them. But knowing what I know now, I like knives a lot. This knife does not give me that much more pleasure than this knife. Yes, I know what this knife is, and I appreciate what this knife is. But at the end of the day, I appreciate both of them for what they are. So I would much rather have a whole lot of knives that I can look at that are all different, that have their own thing about them, that all stand out for one reason or another, that I have for different situations. Every situation I come across, I'm ready. I've got a knife for the occasion. I'd rather go that route than be limited to just 3 knives. Yes, those 3 knives are very capable and I'm good situation. And they're going to last a long time, have great steels, sharpen less, all the other stuff, good warranties. But these give me more knives to look at, play with, use in different situations. Every scenario I come across, I got something for. You got the feeling of owning more knives, so you actually feel like, what actually feels like a collection. Those 3 or all of these? Which one feels more like a real collection? These feel like a collection. You've got a lot of knives. So if I was starting over and I had a budget to spend, knowing what I know now, I would definitely not just buy a couple premium knives. I would 100% buy a bunch of knives for different situations that I like for one reason or another, and I would build a good collection and wait for the next time that I've got money that I can add one premium piece here and there to it as I go. But if I can only have it one way, it's the quality over quantity is the way to go in 90% of situations in life. But when you're talking collection, that's a personal perspective. You might choose quality over quantity. I choose quantity over quality just because I'm going to get a lot of quality out of this. Quality in knives is not the same as quality out of shoes or quality out of a lot of things, because this knife is still really good quality. It ain't the quality of this, but it's still good quality and it's going to last me a long daggone time. So it's a different kind of quality over quantity. So, all right, guys, that's it. I'm going to stop there. I wish all of you guys sharp knives and happy lives. That's my perspective. Sorry for the rabbit trails. I don't mean to offend anybody. I just want to explain my perspective on things so you all know where I'm coming from. That you all know why Chris is always pumping up these blade steels that everybody else in the community beats down. That's why I want to encourage people. I want to encourage you. I want to encourage the knife collector. I want to encourage that kid in us all that wants to start collecting, that has their first knife when they're 13 or 8 or whatever. I want to encourage that kid. You have an awesome, amazing knife, buddy. Take care of that. Love that thing. Treat it right, and it'll treat you right. And in time, you'll learn more. And when you do, you'll grow. Trust me, you're good. All right, guys. I wish all of you all sharp knives and happy lives. I'm Chris, the Unprofessional Dad, and I will see you all tomorrow. Sorry I didn't get to do a 3-knife challenge tonight. I've been really busy. I will get back on it tomorrow. I'll see you guys then. Later, guys.